Hey everyone, this is Mrs. Clark, and today I'm going to show you how to code your own pixel art, making this Valentine's umbrella. If you want this exact template, you can code along with me. It's in the link in the description, but this video will also help you if you're a beginner coding your own pixel art that you've already made. So let's go ahead and get started. The first thing I'm going to do is come up to the percentage and set it to 75 so I can see everything on one screen. Next, I'm going to write my questions. You do that by clicking on the box and typing, and you can also adjust the size of these columns like this, and you can also adjust the font and the color and things like that. So go ahead and write your questions and answer them. Now we're going to talk about the actual coding. We're only going to write 9 codes. We're going to code each of these answer boxes only. When we code, we're going to tell the computer 2 things. We need to tell the computer what box it is, and then we need to tell the computer what has to be in that box for the code to work. In other words, we have to tell the computer the answer to our question. So let's look at this box, for example. We have to tell the computer what box this is. Well, every box on a spreadsheet has a name, and you name the box by telling the computer the column and row of that box. So let's look at this one. It will shade it for you, so it'll make that column a little darker up top and the row darker so you can see it. This is column B, and then let's look at the row over here. This box is technically rows 4, 5, 6, and 7, but when you're naming the box, you just use the first number, so it's row 4. So the name of this box is B4. It's column B, row 4. This box is called B8, column B, row 8. And this box is B12, column B, row 12. That's the first thing you do. You got to tell the computer what box you're talking about. And then you have to tell it the answer to your question, 9, 8, February, so on and so forth. With that being said, let's look at the actual code. It's all the things I just mentioned with a couple symbols. It's down here, and I recommend writing this on a piece of paper. So it is equals $column, $row equals answer. For example, this box, the code will be equals $B, $4 equals 9. This code is going to be equals $B, $8 equals 8. And this one will be equals $B, $12 equals February. And that's how you write the code. Let's go ahead and start. Click on the first answer box. We always want to make sure we click on the one we're going to code, and we'll open the coding window. Come up to Format. If you don't have this window, click here and click on Conditional Formatting. It's going to open the window we'll be using the whole time, and you can see that it's turned this box blue, and this is the one we're working on. I always go bottom up. That means I'm first going to tell the computer what color I want to turn that box. I need to pick a color from my umbrella picture, and if I'm not sure which one, I can click on the umbrella and find the color I'm looking for. So I want to do this darkest red to get it over with. So I'm going to click on it just so I can see, and I can see that it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th from the right. It's next to the gray. Now, before I come back here, because I was just clicking on my picture, I want to click back on the one I'm coding, which is this box. So come back to this paint bucket. So we were just locating the color, but it's this one. And we pick the color we want it to turn. The next step is one up, and we're going to write our code. So click here, go all the way to the last option, which is Custom Formula Is. Click on that. A box will appear underneath where you can write the code we were just looking at. So we're going to tell the computer the name of this box, column and row, and the answer to my question, which is 9. Equals $B, that's the column, $4, that's the row, equals 9, that's the answer. Keep this open, but I'm going to close it just to show you real quick. The code is technically done. I told the computer if there's a 9 in that box, turn it red. If there's something else or nothing in it, don't turn it red. So the code works. We're done writing our code. What we want to do now is just attach the reds from the picture to the existing code. Let me open it back up. And that's our last step, is to attach other pixels to it. To do that, we come up here where it says Apply to Range. This is where we pick the pixels that'll be part of the code. It already has B4 to B7, which is this big 9 box, and we're going to add the other dark reds in. Click here, A window will pop up, slide it over. And we're going to click on all of the dark reds in this picture, but first I need to hold down a button on my keyboard. I need to hold down Control. The reason I have to do that is because if you hold down Control, it lets you click on a bunch of things without losing all of it. In other words, you can have like a big group. And if you don't do that, you're going to lose everything. Like every time you click, it'll just be one pixel instead of keeping all the other ones. So now I'm just clicking on all the dark red in my umbrella. And one thing I want to say is that if you get confused between this dark red and the one that's slightly lighter, which is this color, it's not a big deal. This dark red is just shading on the umbrella. So if you click, or if you include, like, let's say I include that one right there, it's fine. It's really not going to be a big problem. So don't stress too much if you have any trouble telling the difference between some of these shades of red. I did say I wanted to get this one over with. And the reason I said that is because it is kind of similar to the other red. So once this one is done, the other red will pop and be easier to see. Let me come down here and get this dark red too. If you click on one that you didn't mean to click on, just click on it again and it will take it out. There we go. So I had Control pushed down that whole time. I'm going to lift up on Control and do 3 steps. First, I need to hit OK on the range. Second, I need to hit Done on the code. Third step is super important. Come up to the paint bucket and click Reset. We want to test it now, but everything's still selected. So just click somewhere else. And now come back to that box where the 9 is and click Delete or Backspace. All that dark red will disappear. And then put your answer back in and click off of it, and it'll come back. That one's done. You can see the code is up there if you need it for any reason. Get rid of the 9 though, because we want our umbrella to be disappearing as we go, and we don't want to get confused about what we have or have not selected. So let's do our next color. You're going to click on the box you want to code. For me, it's this 8 box. And you're going to click Add Another Rule. And now we'll do it all over again. Start at the bottom and pick your color. I am going to do the lightest gray. And if you click on the paint bucket and you're not sure which gray it is, you can come here and look and just double check and then click back on the box you're coding, which is this 8 box. Pick the color you want it to turn, and now we'll write our code. Custom formula is telling the computer the column and row of this box and that the answer needs to be 8 in my case, equals $, E, that's the column, $8, that's the row, equals 8. That's the answer. Code is technically done, but we're going to add in the pixels from the umbrella. Slide this over, hold down Control, and I'm going to click on the light grays in the umbrella. And I can click and drag to get ones if they're in a row next to each other. Notice that 8 box is still selected. That's really important. The answer box needs to change color too, so you just want to make sure that that's included in the code before you stop. Lifting up on Control now, and I do my 3 steps. OK on the range, Done on the code, and reset the paint bucket. Click off of it because everything's selected. Delete the 8. The gray should disappear. Oops, sorry, I deleted the wrong thing. There we go. And now we'll put our answers back in for both, and we should have a full umbrella afterwards. There we go. Click on the next box, and we will keep going. I'm going to do the lightest pink. Click Add Another Rule, and click on your paint bucket. If you're not sure which pink is the lightest pink, we'll just go into our picture and click on it here, and come up. And we can see it's second from the right. So that's how we find it. And I think that's the same one that's down here. Good, that's nice to test it. And then this one is different. Okay, so it's just the umbrella and a little bit on the handle. Second from the right. Okay, now before I continue, I am going to click back on this box that I'm actually coding. Come find my color. And now I will write my code. Equals $B, that's the column, $12, that's the row, equals February, that's my answer. And I want to show you something. Do you see how it turned white? That's because the code is wrong. February is a word. When you code with a word as your answer, you have to do one more step. And all you have to do is put quotation marks around the word, just like dialogue in a book. It turned pink to show me that it worked. So if it's a word, you do have to put quotation marks around it. If it's a number like we had before, then you don't have to do that. I'm getting a big chunk by clicking and dragging. And that only works if they are pixels that are in a row or in a big block or next to each other. All right, lift up on control and do those 3 steps. So we hit OK on the range, done on the code, and then reset the paint bucket. For our next one, we'll do the black. Click on the box you want to code, which is the next answer box. Click add another rule, and we'll start at the bottom, setting the color. And I want to show you something. We're having it turn black, which is good. That's what we want. But now we can't see the words anymore. So you do have an option to change the font color. You could technically do that on all of them if you wanted. But I'm saying if they code it right, or if someone writes Mercury in the box, also change the font color. And you can make the font pink, for example, or white or whatever. All right, let's write our code. Custom formula is, so we've got the column and row, that box there, equals $B, that's the column, $16, that's the row, and the answer to my question is Mercury, and I need to put it in quotation marks because it is a word. Next, I click apply to range. Slide this over so I can still see everything. I want to make sure that Mercury box stays selected, so I'm holding down control. And then when you're done, think about what those 3 steps are. And if you can remember them, it's OK on the range, done on the code, and reset the paint bucket. All right, I'm going to keep going. I have 5 more colors and 5 more questions, so I'll just do 1 color per question. And I'm going to speed up the video now, and then we'll check in at the end and see how it looks. All right, when it's finished, it should be completely blank. If you left any pixels behind or made any mistakes, I have a video called Pixel Art Common Mistakes and How to Fix Them, and that should help you if anything went wrong, which is totally normal when you're beginning, so just stick with it. You can see as I cycle through, all those codes are popping up on the right, so there they are if I need to open them and add anything to them or anything like that. But let's go ahead now and close this and put our answers in. So there it is. Again, check out this video if you need extra help. It's in my playlist for pixel art, and I hope you have a great time with this project, and happy Valentine's Day.